It's the social as talkSPORT 2. Flex from the United View with me until 5 this evening. Disappointed, Flex, with transfer deadline day with United. Did you think something was going to get done?
I think I wanted us to get forward, especially because we let two go in Anthony and Rashford. And I know you can say they haven't been playing and they've been terrible, but I would have liked to have got another forward in. But actually, in hindsight, once the window's closed and you sort of see some of the numbers that have been brandished for what that Matisse Tell deal looks like for Spurs and where Man United are in terms of the money available for us to spend in this January, I can understand why we haven't panicked. I can understand that. Are we weaker? Yes. Is the squad in dire needs for reinforcements? Absolutely. Is it going to continue to be really difficult for Man United to put in any form of performances and a string of results together? Yes, all that remains the same. But they sort of... With INEOS here, it's all about beginning to take off all the plasters, right? And expose the wound before rebuilding. And that is getting rid of players who've got big contracts, getting rid of players who are on big salaries, getting rid of players who don't want to be here, getting rid of players who aren't good enough. And essentially, Marcus Rashford at the top of that doesn't want to be here anymore, and that relationship's done. He's left. Anthony, £80 million flop, big wages. The beginning of the end is there for him because you're out on loan. Terrell Malacia came in, not for a lot of money, but we bought Patrick Dorgu, and he's surplus to requirements, had a big injury, not part of it anymore. He's gone to PSV with an option as well. So they're starting to get the ball moving. It's going to take a while. There isn't any Man United fan, or there shouldn't be anyway, who expects that Ruben Amorim was going to be able to walk in here and make everything better, and we were going to get loads of signings in January and then it's all done. Even in the summer, there's still going to be a bunch of players here who are surplus who still got time left on their contracts. You can't shift because Man United have made too many failings over the last 10 years.
So do you think this tweet then from Mike Keegan at the Mail kind of sums up quite well? View at Manchester United was no more panic buying, which is largely what's got them into this mess. Maybe difficult for fans to see as a positive right now, but it is at least indicative of a more grown-up approach.
Yes, and the problem that you have with that is, especially online, right, is us as United fans, you don't want to praise INEOS, right, because they've been complicit in some of the bad spending, in some of the bad decisions, and they haven't got off to the greatest start. So if you pivot and just say, but this batch of signings, getting Patrick Dorgu, giving him 30 grand a week, long contract, it will get better. It would increase with age and increase with his time here. That's what you want. Get players out who aren't there. Don't do the things that you did before by signing players who are on too much money and you're panicking. If you then pivot and give them that praise, it gets muddled in with they should be getting criticism. But with that specific point, in terms of Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox, that's their job, etc. Christian Vivell, yes, good. Because last time we panicked, we picked up the phone to Casemiro and said, we'll give you 70 million, give you a 5-year deal. We picked up the phone to Anthony and paid 80 million euros to 100 million euros to Ajax. And look, we're only getting rid of him 3 years later. So I think that it is very important that Man United hold their nerve and don't get sort of bullied in the market anymore and get an element of calm. And unfortunately, as fans, we want things now. We want things now. And Ruben Amorim has to answer questions. He's losing football matches, especially at home. Nothing seems to have improved, but there has to be a realisation from fans that this is why he probably didn't want to come in the middle of the season. This is on INEOS, and this is what I mean. You pivot back to INEOS. Look at the decisions they've made.
I agree with everything you've just said there, Flex. It's not as simple as just going out and buying players now if the right profile's not there. But you're in 3 competitions. Obviously, you're still in the Europa League. You want to go deep in that. Still in the FA Cup.
We're not in the Premier League anymore.
No, but you've got to play Premier League matches, don't you, right?
Yeah, but it's just a write-off.
But in terms of just bodies, is certainly, I'm thinking, in attacking areas.
It's really tough.
Is that going to be a major worry now? Just the lack of genuine numbers in attacking positions,
How are we going to score? Do you know what I mean? If it's not... With what we've got...
The Kobe Mainoo false 9 didn't work for you then?
The Kobe Mainoo false 9 didn't work. Although for the first 15-20 minutes, he held the ball better than Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes. Yeah, he did all right. You're looking at Rasmus Højlund, Joshua Xerxes, Amad Garnacho as your sort of front line. It's not the best, is it? It's not the best. Obviously, Bruno will supply here and there as well because that's what he does. He gets involved. But it's just that realisation of you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. You just write it off.
Out of Højlund or Xerxes, is there any belief that any of them they could come good as they a year, 18 months continue to develop?
Not for me, mate.
You think they're both not good enough for Man United strikers?
I don't think that they're good enough. I mean, Xerxes, you're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's his first year, so he hasn't even had a full year yet with the team looking how it is. There were some moments actually after the incident at Newcastle where everybody got rallied behind him, and then he had some good appearances off the bench. Came off the bench against Arsenal, was really, really good. Come off the bench in a couple of other games where you go, actually give him a few starts. Then it's the same thing, and then he doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing. And I'll bring Højlund in. Then he's stinking the place out. First touch is a tackle. Like, honestly, just really bad. And there doesn't seem to be any improvement in Rasmus Højlund. The only thing the caveat that you say is that he's young. Maybe he can get better, but you have to go off the eye test. That not for me. So, and Ruben Amorim thinks the same. Let's be honest, he's changing between the two. Left them both off on the bench. And Xerxes 22, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 22.
Yeah, so and Højlund, and he's 21. He's 22 now. And only yesterday. So we bought him as a 20-year-old. He's been here a couple of years, and there hasn't been any improvement. And I've said this a lot of times about Rasmus Højlund. One thing is, like, you can say he doesn't get service. Look at the Man United team; they don't create chances. But you as an individual, what are you working on your individual game? Because to not be able to take a touch and bring people into play, it's the basics of playing up front.
I think his finishing's too rash as well sometimes, Højlund in front of goal.
Yeah, but it doesn't really get that much chances, to be honest. He was the top scorer last year.
But I still just thought in front of goal flex. Seems to be
you don't bet on him scoring.
Too snatchy. You almost feel like he's dragging shots, he's pulling shots, he's not crisp,
it's
not
natural.
clean.
It's not natural. And then you talk about not being crisp, not clean. The rest of his game is quite ugly.
Yeah.
You know, fighting with defenders, not knowing when to come short.
So then in terms of between
long.
now flex, the end of the season, given that lots of work needs to be done
Focus
in
on
the
the cups.
Focus on the cups.
But
in terms of kind of formation and approach, do you think Ruben Amorim is just going to be completely wedded to the back threes and try and work out who works?
And that's another thing that is a bit annoying, because I know a lot of people are saying change this, change that. These players can't play this, that. They just got Erik ten Hag sacked playing 4-3-3, mate. They just got they were just the worst ever season playing 4-2-3-1. There is no future in this team. We've just seen it, and that's the manager who did buy these players for that.
So you're not frustrated in any way in terms of sometimes when you see the formation being played and maybe it feels like players aren't in the right positions and therefore it's hurt. You think for short-term pain, for long-term gain?
I see the bigger picture. Of course I'm frustrated in the moment. Like, I want to see us win, but Ruben Amorim was brought in mid-season. Blame INEOS. If you're gonna put blame on somebody's door, blame INEOS. INEOS went to Sporting and said to Ruben Amorim, now or never, and play. We want you for this. When Erik ten Hag came out and said, "Why don't you play the Ajax style of football?" Do you know what he said? He said, "Because I haven't got Ajax players." Whole fan base lost their mind. Yeah. I said, excuse me.
And he tried to sign. He tried to
sign half of Ajax and half
the
the players he knows, and then you say you can't play that style. So what have we brought you here for? And people say that's the day that Erik ten Hag went downhill. Now we've got a manager that we've bought for his style and saying, "Got my style, I'm sticking to it," and it's losing right now. Now we want to throw him under the bus and say change. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth. Which one is it? He has to stick with his principles, get to the summer,
and be given time.
Be given a pre-season, and then of course he's going to be judged. He's going to be judged, and if he's not the right man, he's not the right man.
On Rashford, judging by what I've been reading on social media, it's felt like for the last few months, Man United fans have been like, "Look, come on, time to go. Enough's enough now."
Yeah.
And now that he has gone, a lot of Man United fans are maybe feeling a bit more emotional when they kind of, seen lots of bits of him as a young kid waiting to get the
involved
bar.
in any of that.
Are you? But how do you feel now? It's all done and dusted.
I don't want to sound heartless because listen. He's come through the academy, and I didn't want it to finish like this at Man United for Marcus Rashford. So that's one thing, and the way it's ended has not been great, but it's needed to happen for a long time. You only got to watch him play. You only got to watch his actions. You only got to watch his body language to know it's over, and there's no problem with that. And the people that you get that on X, you get all the compilation videos. Remember, you're letting go of this. Where has that been?
Yeah,
That's not the player that he is now, and he was put on a pedestal with a lot of excitement and has accomplished, a lot of most players, in this modern era at Manchester United, which has not been great. He's had a good career at Man United, hold his head high, and I wish him the best. Like, we just need to part ways. Man United needs to get a significant fee, and Marcus Rashford needs to reignite his career, and I hope both.
And Villa are thankfully paying most of his wages,
and Villa are paying, exactly. Man United got a good deal with an option of 40 million.
I'm fascinated to flex how he's going to get on a Villa, because
I think he'll do right.
Is the sort of coach who I say he's the coach that improves players. For most players who walk into an Unai Emery team, he improves. And from what we're reading, he wanted Rashford.
He did.
He said to Monchi, "Go and get me this guy. I want him." So it's mad. Rashford's basically failed up massively, hasn't he?
Yeah, in
Failed
a way.
upwards.
Well, but then in comparison to where he wanted to go, he had aspirations of going to AC Milan and
Still playing
Barcelona,
Champions League
which is
football,
a
though,
bit
isn't he?
deluded. Oh, absolutely.
You
In
know.
the end, you go, mate, stay here. That's good for you.
Yeah.
But like I said, he thought he was going to displace Rafinha and Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, that
So-
seems unlikely.
So that's exactly, but that's where the shopping aisle was until those guys are not exercising any options to come for you, and then Villa got money, and then they do. So he had to take that option as well. But I think he'll do all right. I think he'll do well.
FA Cup this weekend for Man United.
Yeah.
Leicester, isn't it, on
Ruud van
Friday
Nistelrooy
night?
coming back. Yeah.
You got him the Leicester job.
Yeah.
He got the Leicester job by winning a few games for Man United.
Against Leicester.
Leicester. Do you think he could lose his job as Leicester manager if he loses at Man United in the FA Cup?
Maybe not because FA Cup.
Yeah.
Because, their bigger priority is obviously
I
to
think if
stay in the
Everton
league.
score
But
4 goals against your team, you should immediately be sacked on the spot.
I know, I'm trying to hang on in there
That's
with Ruud, but
chaos,
it's a
isn't it?
difficult job.
Yeah.
Difficult. Because he took that job really, you're probably going to get relegated as well. So what's your reputation going to be like? I reckon it's going to end up be looking like a short stint now. They'll probably get rid of him, and then you go, Ruud didn't have a good time here.
Yeah.
Which is not nice.
And then he'll be Man United interim manager.
Interim
next
again.
season when Amorim gets sacked.